Yes. Can you hear me now? Hello? You can now. Oh no. Oh. No sound, no sound. I think you can probably hear me now. 1. Yes. Okay. That's the oh, they're all speaking now. They're all popping up. That was one of the thank you for all your suggestions on what to do on the 150th session. I appreciate them all. Thank you for contributing to that. Of course, it's a group effort. One suggestion was to dedicate the positive energy to those who are sick and experiencing difficulties specifically. So we can do that individually. We can dedicate all the good energy from these sessions to anyone we know experiencing difficulties, anyone we know who is ill, physically ill, anyone we know who is dying, or even people we don't know. We can send and dedicate all our positive energies to them. Right now, people are dying. And also after they have died, they are abiding in the intermediate state. There's hundreds of thousands of people in need of mental strength and support. So we can dedicate for all these people. Dedicate at the end of the session where it says dedication for world healing. We can dedicate all the positive energy from this meditation and all the positive energy from all the previous meditations. If you've done all of them, 150 meditations, well, there's more than that, isn't there? Because some days 2, some days 3, and then maybe 175 meditations over the past 150 days. That's a tremendous amount of positive energy in the old positive energy bank. And we can dedicate all of that, give it all away now. Yeah, it's like we collect money and then we give it all away, which is the best thing we can do with money as opposed to hoarding it. As a consequence of giving it all away, I think more comes to us. From giving comes wealth. You give your positive energy away, like the positive energy from these meditation sessions, then it increases. It doesn't decrease. This is a fatal misunderstanding about giving. We think to become wealthy, whether physically, mentally, spiritually, we have to keep. We have to keep things. It's incorrect. It makes a tight mind and miserable. The miser mind, the Scrooge mind. Giving is the complete opposite. Giving is a blissful, happy, uplifted mind. If we give correctly, of course, we can give with miserliness, and then when we give, we feel pain, like paying for the bill at our Eat Out to help out, 50% discount, but still seeing the bill and feeling pain when our hand goes in our pocket to get our card out or whatever we're doing. There's a sense of pain coming because we're parting from our precious wealth. We feel like a sense of loss. uh, when we waste our precious human life on distracting activities, we don't feel a sense of loss. But the great Lama J. Prabhupada, he said we should feel loss when we waste our precious human life, not loss when we spend money. Yeah. Our human life is much more precious than a bit of paper. Actually, money ultimately has no meaning. The only meaning it has is when we give it away. Just holding on to it. No meaning there. When we dedicate our energies, we're giving them all away. Yeah, we're not keeping it. We don't want to keep it. We want to give. I think this is the way to make my life meaningful, by giving my positive energy away. This is why at the end of every meditation, it says dedication. So we're giving it away. We do a meditation and then we give it all away. Yeah, there's many, many meditations out there, and a lot of them don't have this at the end. It's just, I'll be peaceful for myself. But these meditations are limited in power because it's just about me, 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 me. Whereas if you look at these meditations that we're doing here, we start off with compassion. So it's not about me. I'm there, but I'm not everywhere. I'm just part of a big crowd of people. And that is my intention, meditating on behalf of everybody. And at the end, dedicate and give it all away. This is the joyful meditation path. If you want to bring happiness into your meditation path and life, start giving things away. Yeah, have a look around and think, what can I give away today? What don't I need? Do I need all this stuff? Is it really helping me? And then start giving things away. Material things. You see someone who needs something, help them. Yeah, mentally give your positive energy away. So with respect to people who are sick, family members, people who are dying right now, give them your positive energy. Even if you don't know anyone who's sick personally, there's still people right now lying in hospital, people in intensive care, people in hospices all over the world who require positive energy. Give it away. Rather than thinking about my day, my worries, my bank account, my job, my relationships, these boring thoughts that interfere with our meditation. We think about others, all the people who need help. Right? It's far more interesting. And we dedicate all the good energies. I was saying yesterday, that when we meditate, in this form of meditation, it is it's like a great scope intention, which means that we're including all living beings. So we say, how wonderful. If all living beings could be free from suffering, this is the compassionate intention. How wonderful. If all living beings, this is a joyful mind. How wonderful if they could all be free from suffering. So throughout the entire meditation, they're there, all living beings. And throughout the meditation, there's this underlying compassion. It's not like we generate compassion and then we forget, and then we go into our meditation cupboard and then start struggling with all our distractions, wondering when it's going to end. We we take all living beings with us into our meditation. Now, initially, people say, I'm meditating. Well, they may not explicitly say it, but often they say after, I'm meditating for me. I'm doing this for me time. I've come along to this meditation class for me, to get away from people. Yeah. I don't want to be visualizing them surrounding me. I remember one time online, someone commenting, because at the beginning of one of the guided meditations, say, imagine yourself surrounded by all living beings. One of the comments was, I actually increased my anxiety. I don't want to imagine myself surrounded by all living beings. I've actually come here to meditate, to get away from them, not to remember them. It's a valid point. But as we progress, there's different scopes. One scope is a scope as in scope of intention that we bring into our meditations. Initial scope is meditating for me. So we don't need to visualize anybody. We don't need to. We just develop compassion for ourselves, which translates as renunciation. That's a fantastic step, But in this form of meditation, we're opening the heart chakra to countless living beings. So that encourages bliss to arise in our mind, which is more subtle, which helps our meditations become more subtle. So throughout this meditation that we're going to do now to mark the 150th day since March the 23rd, when we were locked down here in the UK, we dedicate continuously through the session to that underlying compassion for all living beings. And remember, when we cultivate compassion next to us, so if you know somebody who is dying, if you know somebody who is in intense pain and suffering, imagine them next to you. Yeah. Or the close karmic circle, sending positive energy to them, all the meditation, and then more and more and more and more people. But the interesting thing about this form of compassion, which is very, very useful to understand, is that it's a joyful mind. So we're thinking even about the dying, even about those experiencing intense suffering, maybe those who are close to us. But there's a joy in that mind because we're thinking how wonderful if they could be free from suffering. We're not just thinking their suffering isn't that terrible. Of course, it's awful. We don't want them to suffer. But we're focusing more on how wonderful if they could be free from the suffering. That's quite an important point, because in that way, compassion for those who are suffering is an uplifted mind, and it provides us with tremendous energy to go and help others. If it doesn't have that joy, our compassion will motivate us to help others, but we'll burn out. Yeah. We see it all over the world. Maybe we've seen it in our own life. So important, this one. To have the joy in the compassion. How wonderful if they could be free from suffering. With respect to ourselves, when we suffer, which is every day. Yeah, every human being suffers every day. Even if they tell you they're not, they are. We experience physical and mental suffering every single day. And when we become aware of that, instead of just dwelling in it, we think, how wonderful if I could be free from this suffering. So we're aware of the suffering, but we bring joy into our mind by thinking, how wonderful if I could be free from this suffering. And then that helps us to transcend the suffering, the joy. It's an essential ingredient for transcending suffering and for making the mind buoyant. Okay. Let's begin our meditation. So, in the closing part of our meditation on this 150th day of practice, we take the opportunity to dedicate all the good energy from our training, whether we've done all the meditations from the beginning, whether we've just started. We reflect on this great energy we collected as an individual practitioner and as a group in the vast space of our mind, like the sky. We visualize all this positive energy as a seed in the very center of our heart, a seed of blazing light, and it radiates out across the globe, reaching all living beings, healing all living beings. We can visualize light radiating and touching the hearts of everybody. And in particular, if we know anyone who is sick, who is dying, who is in need of great help at this very moment, imagine them next to you and dedicate all the good energy from your practice to them. May they find deep peace and healing in their lives. We joyfully dedicate all that good energy, imagining the entire world pervaded by this healing energy from our group meditations over these days, weeks, months. So instead of just keeping it for ourselves, we give it all away. And we know that joyful feeling when we give something to somebody and they're happy. Now we give all our positive energy away, healing them. And then we develop joy, acknowledging that. And in that way, we multiply this positive energy. It increases and is protected. So we can keep practicing continually throughout our life. imagine this light gathers back gradually into the seed of our heart chakra. We remember throughout the day this blissful energy here. And whenever we see anybody, think of anybody, remember anybody, we give them that positive energy and develop compassion. How wonderful if they could be free from their suffering. We keep this positive visualization, the meditation, the seed, radiating out, healing those people closest to us, healing everyone across the world. It comes back, and we remember it's here in our heart. This is our compassionate Buddha nature, blissful, open. When we see somebody, we extend it to them. Of course, we see people and we have a habit of potentially seeing a fault, dislike, negative. We see that. That's an appearance. We understand appearances are deceptive. Yeah? We don't entertain it. We see it. And then instead of believing it, we extend our compassion. And we continually do this. So we can start to develop a default response towards others of compassion. How wonderful if this person could be free from suffering. How wonderful if I could be free from suffering. How wonderful if all living beings could be free from suffering. And through the power of my positive energy, may that come about. That's the dedication. We can integrate this way of thinking and feeling into our daily life. It's extremely powerful. And it means that when we arrive back on our meditation seat, whenever that may be, I'll be here tomorrow night at 7:30. We have with us increased positivity, and we keep developing like that. Thanks for coming along this morning, and I wish you a pleasant day ahead.